There are three crucial parts to every child's development: his physical growth, cognitive growth, and moral growth. And it is the development of these key areas which influence the child to become who he or she truly is. Physical growth might be the most obvious form of development. The child grows multiple feet in height, acquires the muscle control needed for actions such as lifting his head and walking, and, surprisingly enough, as the child grows, he loses synapses. This is a process called synaptic pruning, which is meant to improve the efficiency of the brain. This process will be explained in more detail later on in the page. Next is cognitive development. First of all, some important buzzwords to know when discussing cognitive psychology are schema, accommodation, and assimilation. Essentially, schemas are little boxes into which we try and organize the world. Accommodation is creating a new box, and assimilation is when someone is able to apply the characteristics of a box to a new object. For example, the schema pet the cat can apply to dogs. Now that you know some key words, we can move on to Jean Piaget's stages of learning. And please, if you only remember one thing from this section, try and remember some facts about these stages, because to this day they are relevant and are commonly discussed among psychologists. There are 4 stages of learning: the sensory motor stage, the pre-operational stage, the concrete operational stage, and the formal operational stage. During the sensory motor stage, the child is discovering himself, other objects, and his surroundings. Basically, the child does something like shake a rattle, and if he gets a positive result, he learns that he wants to do it again. This stage lasts until the child is about 2 years old. The pre-operational stage lasts until a child is about 7, and its main characteristics are a child's ability to use symbols to represent real objects, a child's newfound knowledge of the concepts of the past and the future, and a gained sense of egocentrism. Also in this stage, a child has trouble understanding multiple dimensions. For example, he could say, "I live in California," but when asked if he lives in the United States, he would respond no. However, when a child reaches the concrete operational stage around 7 or 8 years old, he now understands that California is a part of the United States and understands other problems involving conversion. He also understands reversibility. This can most easily be explained with math. Let's say that a child goes about solving the problem 5 plus 7. He does the problem and finds out that the answer is 12. So, then he is given the problem 12 minus 5. Since he is in the concrete operational stage, he understands that this is basically just a different form of the first problem and solves it quickly. A child who has not reached this stage has to take as much time as he spent solving the first problem to solve the second. This stage usually ends around 11 years old, and then the next stage, the formal operational stage, begins. This stage is important because now children are able to understand hypothetical problems and situations. For example, if they are given the problem A times B equals C, even though these letters don't have any value assigned to them, kids understand that C divided by B would equal A. They are also able to look at a hypothetical scenario and identify the effects it would have on an entire population instead of just themselves. There's a really good example of this later on in the page. Not all people reach this stage, however, and it is still possible to reach this stage without always thinking logically. The last main component of a child's development is moral growth. The most important thing to focus on here are Lawrence Kohlberg's 3 basic stages of moral development: pre-conventional morality, conventional morality, and post-conventional morality. Pre-conventional morality is defined by making moral judgments based only off of the possibility for the child to receive rewards and/or punishment. Kids usually experience this until around 9 years old. People usually start using conventional morality by the time they are teenagers. This stage can be recognized by someone's moral judgments being based off of how it will affect everyone involved, not just themselves, and takes into account pre-existing rules and laws just because they are rules and laws. The final stage, post-conventional morality, is when someone creates their own morality code and decides to follow that. And that's it. That's a quick summary of the most important things you need to know about child development. Thanks for watching.